Hi, hello. Welcome to my YouTube lectures. Myself, Professor Razu Rolakanti, Department of ECE, St. Peter's Engineering College, and UGC Autonomous Engineering College, Hyderabad. As you know, I am giving lectures in electromagnetic field theory. We are in Unit 4. The Unit 4 is EM wave characteristics 2. In this Unit 4 EM wave characteristics today, I am going to give you reflection and reflection of plane waves, normal incidence, plane conducting boundary. We have given one more videos on this reflection and reflection of plane waves, normal incidence, dielectric boundary. Already we have given the video. In coming videos, we are going to discuss all these topics. We have normal and oblique incidences we are going to discuss in coming videos. Brewster angle, critical angles, and total internal reflection, surface impedance, Poynting vector and Poynting theorem applications, power loss in plane conductors. But today we are going for normal incidence conducting boundary. What is normal incidence and what are the types of incidences? There are two types of incidences. One is normal incidence, another one is oblique incidence. When a uniform plane wave is incidents normally to the boundary between the medium, then it is known as normal incidence. When a uniform plane wave incidents obliquely, that means with certain angle, to the boundary between the media, then it is known as normal incidence. Today I am going to give you normal incidence. Normal incidence at plane conducting boundary. Consider a uniform plane wave striking the interface between two media. What are the two media here is medium 1 and medium 2. Medium 1 is perfect dielectric, medium 2 is perfect conductor. Where medium 1 is perfect dielectric means sigma is equal to 0 because it is a lossless conductor. Perfect dielectric means lossless dielectric. You have to understand that one. Whenever the dielectric is lossless, conductivity sigma is equal to 0. Coming to medium 2 is a perfect conductor. Perfect conductor means lossless conductor where sigma is equal to infinity. Eta is equal to 0. Whenever sigma means conductivity is infinity, eta 2 is equal to 0. Here we are discussing in normal incidence at plane conducting boundary. What about the eta values, intrinsic impedance? Eta means intrinsic impedance values are equal, greater than, less than, like that. The different what will happen we are going to see in this lecture. You see here for a medium 2 intrinsic impedance eta is equal to 0 we have decided and we have done. How this eta 2 is equal to 0, let us verify now. Because formula for eta is equal to root of j omega mu by sigma plus j omega epsilon. We know this formula. Once again I repeat, sigma is equal to under root j omega mu upon sigma plus j omega epsilon. In sigma is infinity, so something by infinity is 0, therefore E2 is 0. Just remember, sigma is infinity, eta 2 is equal to 0. Moreover, for perfect conductor, eta is equal to 0. You see in the figure, incident wave and reflected wave and transmitted wave and all those things. Why? What about for this conducting medium? I want to tell you here whenever the conducting boundary means, don't think both the boundaries are conductor. Always the first medium 1 is dielectric only, second one is conducting medium. That is why we are calling this one as plane conducting boundary. Suppose the second medium is also a dielectric, then we are calling this one as dielectric boundary. This is the our notation. You have to understand this one. As uniform plane wave strikes the interface between the two media, where medium 1 is perfect dielectric, sigma is equal to 0, and this is known as a lossless dielectric, and medium 2 is perfect conductor, sigma is equal to infinity. For medium 2, eta 2 is being perfect conductor, eta is equal to 0, being a perfect conductor. We have studied in last video that the transmission coefficient is given by tau is equal to 2 eta 2 by eta 1 plus eta 2. Here eta 2 is 0, therefore transmission coefficient tau is equal to 0. And the reflection coefficient formula is eta 2 minus eta 1. You see the formulas here. The transmission coefficient formula is tau is equal to eta 2 by eta 2 plus eta 1. Eta 2 is equal to 0 means transmission coefficient tau is equal to 0. Reflection coefficient tau is equal to eta 2 minus eta 1 by eta 2 minus eta 1 means tau is equal to minus 1. What is the meaning? Reflection coefficient is minus 1, transmission coefficient is 0. What is the meaning of this reflection coefficient is 0 and transmission coefficient is 0 and reflection coefficient is minus 1? Reflection coefficient is minus 1 means there is a reflected wave. Minus shows that 180 degrees phase shift and the reverse direction. One is traveling in the positive z direction. The incident wave is traveling in the positive z direction. The reflected wave is traveling in the negative z direction. That is the minus 1. The amplitudes are equal. We are getting here. The transmission coefficient is 0 means there is no transmitted wave. Whatever the wave that is incident on plane, boundary or interface, that is reflecting back. So from the values of the reflection and transmission coefficients, it is clear that the wave is totally reflected and there is no transmitted wave in medium 2. This is a very important point. It is obvious from the fact that no field can exist in a perfect conductor. We know this from our previous classes. What is that? The fact is that no field can exist in a perfect conductor. So medium 2 is a perfect conductor, therefore there is no transmitted wave. As totally reflected wave combines with the incident wave, standing waves are formed. This is a more important concept, standing waves and standing wave ratio. These are the two topics in this unit we are going to discuss. So whenever there is no transmitted wave, the total wave is reflected back, then standing waves are formed. I want to tell you once again that as totally reflected wave combines with the incident wave, standing waves are formed. Standing waves means standing waves does not travel and it consists of two traveling waves, one incident wave, that is EI bar, and the other reflected wave ER bar. Both the waves have the same amplitudes, but the directions in which they propagate are different. Standing waves are nothing but it consists of two traveling waves, one is incident and the other one is reflected and does not travel. Both the waves have the same amplitudes, but directions in which they propagate are different. You see, let the standing wave in medium be denoted by, medium 1 is denoted by E1S. Please remember, E1S, S stands for standing wave, in 1 stands for in medium 1. E1S means standing wave in medium 1, that is denoted by E1S. Therefore, E1s is equal to EI plus EI bar plus ER bar. We know how to write EI bar. EI e to the power of minus gamma 1 z plus ER e to the power of plus gamma 1 z. My dear, please try to understand here. E to the power of minus gamma 1 z, e to the power of minus, this minus shows that the wave propagation, the direction of the wave propagation. Here we assumed that the wave is propagating in z direction. E to the power of minus gamma 1 minus indicates the wave is traveling in positive z direction. Here it is minus, the wave travels in positive z direction. In ER e to the power plus gamma 1 means this reflected wave travels in negative z direction. This is the point you have to understand. Moreover, we assumed that electric field is traveling in x direction. Therefore, E bar 1 E1s bar is equal to EI bar plus ER bar, that is equal to EI e to the power of minus gamma 1 z plus ER e to the power of plus gamma 1 z, that is traveling in the AX direction. Therefore, AX bar. Let this is equation 1. But we know that reflection coefficient tau, that is equal to ER by EI. This is very important in a coming derivation. Tau is equal to ER by EI. That means how much wave is reflected. So ER by EI, that is equal to minus 1. That means we can understand that ER is equal to minus EI. Please remember this one. ER is equal to minus EI. This is the point you have to remember here. We are going to use this formula in coming. For medium 1, we know sigma is 0. Indicates what? It is a perfect dielectric medium. Therefore, for perfect dielectric medium, gamma 1 is equal to alpha plus j beta 1. We know the formula for, from formula for alpha is equal to, what is the formula for alpha? Alpha is equal to, in substituting in that formula, alpha is equal to omega into root of mu epsilon by 2 under root 1 plus sigma by omega epsilon whole square minus 1. This is the alpha formula. From this formula, substituting epsilon, sigma is equal to 0, we are going to get 0 here. That means minus 1 and plus 1 get cancels. Therefore, alpha gets 0. Therefore, whenever sigma is equal to 0, alpha becomes 0. We know gamma 1 is equal to alpha plus j beta. Therefore, alpha is equal to 0, 0 means gamma 1 is equal to j beta 1. This is the point you have to understand. Therefore, the equation becomes E1s is equal to EI e to the power of j beta 1 z, and this minus how we are getting is ER by EI is equal to minus 1. Instead of ER, I am substituting minus EI. Therefore, this is becoming minus EI e to the power of j beta 1 z, that is traveling in x direction. You see here e to the power of j minus j theta minus like that. You can understand this one we are going to get. We know sin this e to the power of j theta minus e to the power of minus j theta by 2j is sin theta, we know. By putting this here, we are getting E1s is equal to minus 2j EI sin beta 1 z AX. This is we are getting here. The field in medium, we have to understand, hence the field in medium 1 is given by E1 is equal to real part of the E1s, that's all. But what is about this e to the power of j omega t? J omega t means instantaneous time domain expression. Whenever we want to put time bound also, we have to multiply this is e to the power of j omega t. It is a kernel here. So E1 bar is equal to a real part of the E1s bar into e to the power of j omega t. Therefore E1 becomes, by e to the power of j omega t means we have to substitute e to the power of j theta value. After doing multiplication, we are going to have E1 is equal to Ei sin beta 1 z cos sin omega t ax bar. Try to understand how this step is coming. Means e to the power of j omega t means we are putting that cos theta plus j sin theta. We are getting after the multiplication we are going to get this one. You see here, similarly or exactly similar to the above derivation, we can obtain the magnetic field H1 bar also in medium 1 by substituting cos beta 1 z is equal to e to the power of j beta z plus e to the power of j beta 1 z by 2. By using this, and after that we are going to get Ei by eta 1 cos beta 1 z cos omega t, but this magnetic field is traveling in y direction. This is Ay bar. So from equations, about two equations E1 bar and H1 bar, it is clear that the total fields in medium 1 are not traveling, even though these fields are obtained by adding two waves of equal amplitude, but traveling in opposite direction. Also in these two equations, the factors with time and distance are represented by separate trigonometric terms that we have to observe. Consider the equation for total electric field in medium 1, that is given by equation E1 bar is equal to 2 Ei sin beta 1 z sin omega t ax bar. So from this field, consider the equation for total electric field. This equation gives the total field is 0 everywhere whenever omega t is equal to n pi. Also this field is 0 for all time at the planes for which beta 1 z is equal to n phi. The planes at which the electric field is 0 are located where beta 1 z is equal to n phi, where n is equal to plus or minus 0, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, like that. N is equal to 0, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, like that. Therefore z is equal to n phi by beta 1. We know that there is a relation between beta to lambda. So to draw the waveform, we want lambda wavelength. Therefore we are converting beta values into the lambda values. How to convert? By using a relation beta is equal to 2 phi by lambda. This is a known relation where lambda 1 is a wavelength in medium 1. Therefore z becomes n phi by 2 pi by lambda, that is z is equal to n into lambda 1 by 2. So z is equal to n into lambda 1 by. The above condition clearly indicates that the electric field is 0 at z is equal to 0, and it repeats after every half wavelength from the boundary in the medium 1 where z is less than 1. Now consider equation H1 bar is equal to Ei by eta 1 cos beta 1 z cos omega t Ay bar. For this is the standing wave. The magnitude of the magnetic field is maximum at the positions where the electric field is 0. This is important. The magnitude of the magnetic field is maximum at the positions where the electric field is 0. That you have to understand. Remember this one. Furthermore, it is 90 degrees out of phase with the electric field everywhere. In some books, they will say 90 degrees out of phase time as phase quadrature. Phase quadrature means 90 degrees out of phase. Therefore, we are having a standing waves here. The representation of the instantaneous values and all those things we have to study here. Before going to that, I want to tell you what is the standing ratio, how we are going to. I want to give you some practical approach also here for standing waves. Now I am going to switch on to the standing wave ratio also. Before that, I want to give some practical observations. We have seen that the electric field is zero at boundary and repeats at every half wavelength distance from the boundary in medium 1. Medium 1 means Z is less than 0. At the same time, the magnitude of the magnetic field is maximum at the positions where the electric field is 0. By practical approach, I want to tell you, take a simple probe and relative amplitudes of electric and magnetic field intensity are easily measured by using a simple probe. Suppose if you want to measure the magnetic field by using a small coupling loop, amplitude of magnetic field can be measured. By using a simple coaxial cable, amplitude of the electric field can be measured. To measure actual indication, the outputs of the probe is connected either to microammeter or multivoltmeter or any special display device. So now we have to consider, by seeing this figure, a uniform plane wave traveling in a lossless medium. It gets reflected back by the perfect conductor. This results in the generation of standing wave when the voltage probe is located at the interface, that is Z is equal to 0, and at every integral number of half wavelengths from the interval in medium 1, that is Z is less than 0, the output of the probe will be 0. When the position of the probe is changed, the amplitude of the field varies as mod sin beta Z. The total field in medium 1 is obtained by adding incident and reflecting field intensities. We know from this E1s is equal to Ei e to the power of minus gamma 1 Z, Er e to the power of gamma 1 Z. The medium 1 is the perfect dielectric, so sigma is equal to 0, alpha is equal to 0. The propagation constant becomes, as we discussed before, gamma is equal to J beta. Also, the reflection coefficient is given by, we know that tau is equal to Er by Ei, Er is equal to tau Ei. Now I want to use Er is equal to tau Ei. When the total field in medium 1 is given by E1s is equal to Ei e to the power of J beta 1 Z plus, instead of Er I am putting a tau Ei value, tau Ei is equal to e to the power of J beta 1. That becomes. The reflection coefficient can be expressed in terms of intrinsic impedance of the two medium. We know tau is equal to eta 2 minus eta 1 by eta 2 plus eta 1. So we know tau may be complex. So we can write the reflection coefficient in phasor form as, because it is a complex number, tau is equal to mod tau e to the power of j theta. Here, depending upon the nature and the values of eta 1 and eta 2, we get the three conditions for an angle theta. If the medium 2 perfect conductor, theta is equal to phi. If eta 2 is real, eta 2 is less than eta 1, theta becomes phi. If eta 2 is real and eta 2 is greater than eta 1, theta becomes 0. Then the total field in the region is given by E1s is equal to e to the power of minus j beta 1 Z plus mod tau e to the power of j of beta 1 Z plus phi into E1. Let us check the output conditions for maximum and minimum values of the amplitude. It is obvious that when the incident and reflected waves are in phase, we get maximum amplitude of the field. You can see this here. I repeat, it is obvious that when the incident and reflected waves are in phase, we get maximum amplitude of the field. That means the phase angle of the both the waves is same. Therefore, we can say that E1 as maximum, when we are going to have the maximum value, is 1 plus mod tau into Ei. And this maximum occurs where minus beta 1 z is equal to beta 1 z plus phi plus 2n phi. Therefore, that means we are whenever evens are there, we are going to get like this, minus beta 1 z plus pi by 2 plus n phi. Consider some cases eta 1 and eta 2 both are real. Moreover, eta 2 is greater than eta 1, then we get the voltage maximum at the interface if pi is equal to 0. If the interface between the perfect dielectric and the perfect conductor, then phi is equal to phi, then the voltage maximum occurs at minus beta 1 z is equal to pi by 2 or 3 pi by 2 and so on. When the incident wave and reflected wave are out of phase, that is 180 degrees phase shift, we will get the minimum voltage. It is important. When we are going to get the minimum voltage, incident wave and reflected wave are out of phase. Out of phase means 180 degrees. We get E1s minimum is equal to 1 minus mod tau into Ei. Therefore, from this we are going to have these equations here. Whenever minus beta 1 z, the minimum occurs where minus beta 1 z is equal to beta 1 z plus pi plus phi plus 2n phi, where n is equal to 0, 2 plus or minus 1 to infinity. Beta 1 z becomes phi by 2 plus n phi plus pi by 2. From the above, we will it is clear that the voltage minima are separated by lambda by 2 distance. This is very important point. You have to understand how we are getting the lambda by 2 distance in the figure. Whenever lambda by, you see by seeing this figure lambda by 2, from the above discussion, the voltage minima are separated by lambda by 2 distance. The voltage minima occurs at minus beta 1 z is equal to 0 for perfect conductor. So I want to give you very important point here. In general, voltage minima are separated by 1/2 wavelength. Also, the voltage maxima are also separated by 1/2 wavelength. So we can conclude here voltage minima and voltage maxima are separated by 1/2 wavelength. This is an important point here. Now I am going to discuss about standing wave ratio. How the standing wave ratio comes? The standing wave ratio is defined as the ratio of maximum to minimum amplitudes of the voltage. Therefore, standing wave ratio is denoted with the letter S. S is equal to, coming to here we can understand, S is equal to E1 S maximum by E1 S minimum, that is equal to 1 plus tau by 1 minus tau. The tau value we are taking here is magnitude. Therefore, 1 plus mod tau by 1 minus mod tau. When the amplitudes of the reflected and incident waves are equal, I am giving a special case here. I want to tell you here S values ranges from 0 to infinity. If the S value is 0, what we have to understand? If S value is infinity, what we have to understand? I am going to tell you that. When the amplitudes of the reflected and incident waves are equal, then mod tau becomes 1. Thus, S is infinite. S is infinite because tau is equal to 1 means 1 plus 1 by 1 minus 1. 0, 0 by something is infinite. When S is infinite, what is the indication? Indicating total energy is reflected. S is equal to infinity means total energy is reflected. Where no reflecting of energy, that is eta 2 is equal to eta 1, then tau is equal to 0, thus S is unity. The standing wave ratio S is dimensionless and the value of the S lies in the range 1 less than or equal to S less than or equal to infinity. Therefore, S value lies between 1 to infinity. If it is infinity, we have to understand total energy is reflecting. If it is unity, we have no reflection of energy. We can express reflection coefficient tau in terms of the standing wave ratio as mod tau is equal to S minus 1 by S plus 1. But it is a dimensionless, S is a dimensionless quantity, but it is customarily expressed in decibels. Practically, we are going to express this one as in decibels, that's dB. S in dBs, then it is equal to 20 log S base 10. So, this is the about standing wave ratio. Please try to understand here standing wave ratio formula. E1s max by E1s min, that is equal to 1 plus mod tau by 1 minus mod tau. When that tau mod tau is equal to S minus 1 by S plus 1. These are the important formulas. On this the problems will come. Thank you. Thank you very much. I am stopping here after explaining the standing wave ratio. Thank you.